Well, everyone, George Rambleman here. I'm at Indian Motorcycle Demo Days at the Indian dealership in Marietta, Georgia. It's a Friday afternoon, beautiful day, not a cloud in the sky. Temperature's a little bit cool in the 50s, but I'm going to take a few motorcycles out today. Next bike I'm going to take is this Indian Sport Chief, which is in this very nice red color, as you can see, powered by the 116 cubic inch motor, air-cooled V-twin. Very powerful bike, obviously. It's kind of a mid-size cruiser, kind of between the Scout and the bigger touring bikes, but a very attractive bike, as you can see. Kind of sporty. A lot of high tech on this bike. As you can see, it's got the round TFT display, and there's the screen. It's all TFT, but it's kind of an analog speedometer, fuel gauge, gear position indicator, and tach. Very nice. And this has the ride command, so it has a lot of other features too. Also comes with cruise control, as you can see here. And let's see what it says here. Powered by the Thunderstroke 116, 120 foot-pounds of torque, 6-speed transmission, 4-inch ride command display with 3 ride modes, club-style quarter fairing, moto-style bars with 6-inch risers, solo gunfighter seat, Fox piggyback rear shocks, Brembo dual disc brakes, Pirelli Night Dragon tires, and a 4-gallon tank. This has got the 116 cubic inch motor, so it's a beast. It's got this little sport windshield. This is in a very nice color, this Indian red. Solo seat. So after 1 minute on the bike, my comments on the ergonomics and the kind of the rider's triangle is it's not bad. The seat, like, you know, seat height is low. You can flat foot it very easily. Foot pegs are kind of high, and I kind of have to reach for these bars a little bit. I think I'd have to get some different bars. But you know, when it comes to this position of the foot pegs, it's just something you have to get used to. I had to get used to it with my BMW F750 GS, and I have now, and it's fine, and I'm sure you would do the same with this. Again, I like this display. Very bright, very readable, TFT, and I'm sure there's lots of other features to it. I think it even has the ride command, which is a navigation system on there. I don't know how to use that. But that's a pretty nice feature that Indian has on there, on these smaller bikes, that Harley Davidson probably needs to copy. You know, if you're looking for a cruiser, you don't like the big touring bikes or the big Springfields, this is kind of a step down the Indian Chief line. Not quite as small as the Scouts. I'm at almost 50 miles an hour, 4th gear, and I'm about 2,500 RPM. Very comfortable. I really enjoy these demo events. Indian Motorcycle of Marietta is kind of in a busy area, which makes it a little more difficult, but once you get off that main Cobb Parkway, it's not too bad. We're going to make a big loop around Dobbins Air Force Base and then back to the dealership. This little small sport windscreen is not really doing too much. So on a longer touring ride, probably have to take some breaks and get out of the wind, but it really looks sharp. I'm sure there's probably some aftermarket windshields you could equip on this motorcycle if you wanted it. And I'm sure Indian has quite a line of accessories too. Another feature I noticed it has cruise control over here on the right handlebar. That's a nice feature that the Scouts don't have. At least they don't have as stock. Mirrors seem to be pretty good. They're not really vibrating. I can see very clearly out of my mirrors, both sides. And I'm sure this has all the other standard features that you expect on a modern bike with the ABS. Probably has some ride modes. Don't really know how to change those out on this screen. This is just the standard screen that's up here now with a analog speedometer and tach, digital gear indicator, fuel gauge, odometer. Again, it's all TFT and it's very readable, and I think it has the ride command, which, like I said, gives you the navigation. So this is a great package. Just a sharp looking bike. Don't really think this is a beginner bike with this 116 cubic inch motor. Probably too much power, but it's not too heavy. Very maneuverable and enjoyable to ride. Again, after only 10 minutes on it, my only complaint is I feel like I'm kind of reaching forward for the bars. They're not really pulled back all the way towards me like mini apes would be, or some other bikes I've ridden. This is an air-cooled motor, 116 cubic inches. I'm sure it puts off a good bit of heat in the hot summertime. I'm not sure it has the rear cylinder deactivation or not. Probably does. The seat seems pretty comfortable. It's fairly well padded. It's a solo seat. You can probably get a passenger seat with this bike as an option if you wanted to. You know, bikes like this I don't really think are made for two-up riding. The Scouts, these little Sport Chiefs, this is mostly for single riding, I would guess. If you want to carry a passenger, get a Springfield or a bigger Chief or one of the touring bikes. That's the standard Chief the guy next to me is riding, or maybe the Chief Bobber. Guy leading our rides, he's got a beautiful brown and tan Indian Springfield. I think that's his personal bike. So what are the positives I see from this motorcycle? It's a great mid-size cruiser. Technology is very good with the TFT display. I'm sure it has all the riding modes, the ride command system for navigation, ABS brakes, traction control. I'm sure it has all that, and it even has cruise control. So those are positives. Fairly comfortable. You know, like I said, the only complaint that I have is the bars seem to be a little forward and I have to kind of reach for them. I'd have to pull those back a little bit. But seat's pretty comfortable, very low seat height. You can flat foot it very easily. It's very maneuverable. And power to burn. I mean, you've got more than enough power on this bike. Suspension feels pretty good too. It's got looks like some aftermarket external shocks on the rear. which I'm sure are adjustable. Not sure how, but the suspension is fairly plush. Takes the turns very nicely. Supposed to have self-canceling turn signals, but that did not work on that particular turn. That's one issue that I noted with my Indian Springfield when I rented it a few years ago in New England, was that it canceled itself about 9 times out of 10, and then that 1 time out of 10 you had to do it yourself. Guess nothing's foolproof. Man, what a great day to be on a motorcycle. Nice warm leather jacket. Couldn't be better. I'm sure heated grips are an option with this bike. They do not come standard. Bike has 884 miles on it. So this is the demo fleet from Indian Motorcycle. All the license plates are from Minnesota, so these are not motorcycles from Indian of Marietta. They are from their demo truck. That's what's great about these demo days. You can ride motorcycles and test them out without actually test riding the dealer's models and have him wanting to sell it to you. Handles the slow speeds very easily. I'm at 5 miles an hour coming up to this stoplight, and it just handles very good. Back on the busy Cobb Parkway, US Highway 41 South. We'll be back at Indian Motorcycles of Marietta in a couple of minutes. Kind of sum up my thoughts on this bike. Very, very nice bike. I don't really think it's for me. But if you're looking for a mid-size cruiser, maybe a little step up from the Scouts and Nightster Specials, not quite as big as the Road Kings and Springfields, it's a good choice. I'm sure you can get some luggage for it. I'm not sure what the stock options are, but you're getting a nice modern motorcycle. Great looking display here, all the technology and features that you'd want on a modern motorcycle at a fairly reasonable price. I think this is probably around $20,000. I'm not sure. I'll put the manufacturer's suggested retail price down in the description. Comfort-wise, pretty good. Like I said, the only thing I would do is pull the bars back, and I think you'd have a very comfortable cruising bike. Wind protection is kind of a personal thing. This little sport windshield doesn't really give you a lot of wind protection, but if you're using it just kind of as a cruiser and day tripper, it's probably not too bad. If you really want to take it on a long trip and you get out on an interstate, you're probably going to want to upgrade this wind protection a little bit, and I'm sure there are options for that. This bike is similar in power and size to the Harley-Davidson Heritage that I had, but it's a much more sportier feel and look than the Heritage. This has foot pegs, not floorboards. And they're a little bit high, not too bad. Again, you get used to it. And again, what's really great about these motorcycles is if you're a shorter person, you can flat foot it very easily. I've got an adventure style bike now that's got a 32-inch high seat height, and this one's probably 6 or 7 inches lower than that. All right, folks, we're pulling back into the dealership here in Marietta, Georgia. Another great demo ride. Indian Sport Chief, check it out. Nice motorcycle. This is George the Rambler Man. So long, everybody.